BlackRock's ETF caused this huge tidal wave of money that's coming to the Bitcoin and crypto ecosystem. That wall of money we've been hearing about, is it coming? Prepare now. With that, what's happening, crypto crew? We have a jam-packed video for you today. We're going to be talking about the setups that could be happening behind the scenes for the big institutional wall of money that could be getting ready to ramp up into Bitcoin and the crypto space. So no, you don't want to miss this video. Make sure you watch this one to the end. Getting straight into it, taking a look at the Bitcoin price chart. What do we see? We see Bitcoin coming in over 30,000 to 30.2K. And then you see here, we are just steadily on this uptrend. If we zoom into the price action, we can sit here and show you that Bitcoin is just stair-stepping its way back above the EMAs. And this is the EMA on the weekly. And guess what? We just had a weekly long call on the Bitcoin price action. So this is definitely bullish for Bitcoin. Every single time we get a weekly long call, what happens? Let's zoom out in the charts and see. Every single time we see that weekly uptrend, we see some upwards price action. Every single time from here, we're seeing a 100% move for Bitcoin, and for here we see about almost a 700% move for Bitcoin. Every single time it's a massive move. And looking here again, we see almost a 5,000% move for Bitcoin. So however you cut the cloth, this is extremely bullish, just this signal being called, this long call. If we do 100% from here, being extremely conservative, how high is Bitcoin going to go? 100% takes Bitcoin up to $60,000. Could we see Bitcoin back up near the all-time highs? So we have to be patient. You have to pay attention to what's going on. We'll get some other takes. Remember that halving is next year, March of 2024, right around the corner. An update from Preston Syke. I'm sorry, but after watching BlackRock, Fidelity, Citadel, Schwab, and now Deutsche Bank all apply for Bitcoin ETFs, spot exchanges, etc., only a few days after the SEC drops a TRO on Binance and sues Coinbase, how can't you think this entire past year was a giant inside job coordinated between Wall Street parasites and the government so that they could catch up in the space? And right now, if you're in the space and been in the space, you've already won. Remember that. Don't forget it. And then also, right here, the Bitcoin dominance. Could we be seeing a fall? This is on the monthly chart. Bitcoin comes up. This is a huge alt season. Another huge alt season. Right now, is Bitcoin going to come out and break down? And are we going to see a mini alt season? Because if you look straight across, this is the floor that's been acting as support around that 40% that's been extremely strong for Bitcoin. So are we in the midst of seeing a micro alt season? This is half of the previous alt season of 2021. So be careful here. This is the only advice that Bitcoin brothers are going to tell you, because if you draw a line here, this is like a symmetrical triangle, and Bitcoin could be getting ready to break out of this. Whether it's going to break to the up or downside, that's still to be determined, but this is the apex area right here. So we could get a breakout. Bitcoin could break out, retest this, and have a bump and run pattern to the upside. You got to be patient, wait and see. Take a look at this. You see that we do have a long call on the daily. We take a look at the weekly on the Bitcoin dominance as well, and let's zoom into the price action so you guys can see. You see here that we just had a long call back in March of this year, and Bitcoin has respected those EMAs and been bouncing off of them. We could come back down and maybe retest these EMAs and have a blast up to the upside. How high will Bitcoin go? Could we see a 60% Bitcoin dominance in the upcoming year? That's definitely could be in the cards. This looks like an inverse Barton Simpson's pattern, so we could have just a blast up of some major news. If there's an ETF pass, we could get back up to these levels and sort of start to trend and actually break out of this channel and maybe have a fake out, come back down. We'll ultimately have an alt season, but it might not be the best time to be in alts right now. Nobody really knows. Benjamin Cohen's weighing in on this, looking at ADA's Bitcoin comparative and comparing 2019's bear market to where we are. Mind you, that's 4 years ago. So it took about 225 days for ADA to bottom out, and right now that's where we are right now. So we could see another couple percentage points to the downside, and we could be seeing a lull in the alt market. So it might not be the best time to be in altcoins. Another reason to say that is look at Ethereum as well. Ethereum was trading in this channel, and it actually broke this upwards macro support. And on the weekly Ethereum Bitcoin dominance, we had a short call. The last time we had a short call, How far did Ethereum fall against Bitcoin? Well, let's take a look at the charts and see. When this got called out, Ethereum fell another 67% against Bitcoin. So if we see something like that from where we are, from this, where the short call played out, 67% to the downside, that's going back down to these levels down here where you can get very cheap Ethereum in compared to Bitcoin. Looking at the RSI, we had this top out, this peak out, made a higher high, but also put a low in, and then came down, put a micro bottom in. This might not be the bottom, and then we could just have this run up, hit our head to put a higher low in, and then we could be seeing lower price action, which would go lower than this previous low here, which is around the 0.48% level. So we fall below that. That 200 right now is coming around the 0.5% level, so we could see some meltdown with Ethereum on Bitcoin. Looking back in the charts right here, there's not a lot of traffic as it just blasted through this. So could Ethereum slice back down to this and come back down to these levels here? Time will tell, but this is definitely in the cards. Don't be surprised if you're able to get Ethereum Bitcoin valuation back between the 3 and 4% ranges. That could be in the cards. This short call is definitely something to pay attention to. An update from Joe Burnett: if you have a $10,000 car and 10 Bitcoin in cold storage, people think you're broke. But if you have a $90,000 car and no Bitcoin in cold storage, people think you're rich. So this is just common sense. You got to be aware of what's going on. You got to understand why this is what it is, because basically people care about material things, but you could have 1,000,000 Bitcoin in a wallet and be riding around in a Ford Focus from the 90s and nobody will even know that you're a multi-billionaire. This is the beauty of Bitcoin. An update from El Crypto Prof. What he's looking at is a bullish megaphone pattern on Bitcoin. And if you look at this here, bullish megaphone patterns have this broadening pattern, and you put a higher highs and lower lows in, but this is what Bitcoin's been doing since 2021, higher highs, lower lows. We haven't came back up to this higher peak. Will this happen? Looking at the Stash RSI below, it looks like we have crossed back up to the bullish price chart, or the bullish momentum. So are we going to get back up to this $85,000 target? That could be in the cards. Without further ado, let's hear what Mark Yusko has to say about front-running the big boys in the crypto space, and have we already won this race? Let's hear from Mark.
You've heard me say, 2009 to 15 was the first they ignore you phase. Bunch of nerds and geeks playing with your magic internet money. 16 to 21, then they laugh at you. God, look at you idiots playing with this stupid stuff, magic internet money, whatever. 2022 to 2027, then they fight you. Y'all took $100 billion out of my bank. That pisses me off, and you're going to pay. And so, and $1 billion went into Celsius and Voyager and BlockFi. Who gives it? $100 billion? Now we got a problem. You need to be shut down, and you need to be shut down, and you need to be shut down. And so, but here's the thing. If you're here, we've already won. We've already won. That's the cool part. The inevitability of decentralization, the inevitability of crypto, the inevitability of Bitcoin, the inevitability of a decentralized world, it's happening. And they can fight it all they want, but they're gonna lose. Now, can they make our life miserable in the short run? Sure. Imagine being a wealthy person on April 5th, 1933. You had a bunch of gold bars in your vault, and you were deemed a criminal. Executive Order 6102, you're a criminal. Johnny, that gold, you're a criminal. You gotta give it, you gotta forfeit your gold to us, or we're gonna arrest you.